Phuket, Phu Quoc, Phuket, Phu Quoc. The island of Phuket or Got Phuket has been a really famous place in Thailand for many decades now. Going way back into the past century, people have been coming from all over the world coming to this amazing island. Yet still, I hear travelers call it Phuket, and some call it even worse than that. So today, I'm going to try and give you a definitive answer of how to pronounce the name of not only the island of Phuket, but another place that's very close in the region, that is Phu Quoc in Vietnam. And I'll explain to you why in Vietnam is the sound f using PH and why Thai uses PH to pronounce P. Are you ready? Before I get started, if you are learning Thai or actually any other language in the region and you want to get more depth to the language and have those why questions answered, if you haven't done so already, grab a copy of my book, Cracking Thai Fundamentals, and of course, come in and subscribe to the Unlimited Thai program at J Academy. But that's enough of that. Why is it Phuket, but it's Phu Quoc? Why is PH in Thailand pronounced P, but PH in Vietnam is pronounced Ph? So this is where it gets really fun. I have my trusty Remarkable here because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Well, it's going to be a fun ride. We're going to cross languages of India, China, Thailand, and even down into Indonesia, Malaysia, and of course Vietnam to answer this story, and actually even to Portugal and France. So first of all, to give some hints as to what the origins of these words and why they're pronounced the way they are. Let me write it first in Thai. So the island of Phuket. So we have this letter here. Now this is Pu, and then we have this here. Now this is a G, and that's a E. This part here up top makes it short, so that's Get, and then I put this down here. So this is Pu, that's a long U. Now as for this bit, I'm going to write it like this at the moment. I really don't like using G because this is actually an unaspirated K. So this is my Indic compass, and I've actually put this new interactive version that I'm building up here at crackinglanguage.com. But you can see here, this letter here, P, Pu. Now why are there so many P? Well, this was actually the Sanskrit B. I don't know why this is PH here. It actually should be BH. So B. So B lost the voicing and turned into this. So you might have flown into Suvarnabhumi airport. That is Suvarna Bhumi. So Suvarna, the color of happiness, which is gold. Suvarna, so Suvan is gold. Bhumi or Bhumi is earth. So the land of gold, which is Suvarnabhumi. So B turns into P here. Okay, so that's coming from the Sanskrit B. However, it's a bit weird that it's used for this word. I'll explain in a moment. And then the word get. So Phuket, you can see it's an unaspirated K. It's not a G, unaspirated K. If you're using some of these transliteration systems, yeah, they might use a G to represent the K. Sometimes you'll see a GK, but it's this get. It doesn't have the g voicing. So let's just get the pronunciation correct. That's Phuket. Let's do a quick breakdown. So this Pu comes from that letter there. So I'll write it with an H because it's aspirated. So usually in linguistics, you'll see an H after a letter like this, P. If I have a T, that's T, but with an H, it becomes T. If I have a K with no H, it's K. If I have an H, it's K. Now note the difference between KH, K, K normal, G, and G. G, G, G. You can hear my voice coming in on the G. So anything to do with Sanskrit, linguistics, you'll see this H. It's actually meaning to add air, a puff of air. P, T, K instead of B, T, G. So if we were to really write this, it would be like this. Pu with a long vowel and then Ge, Phuket. And this is actually a low tone. So this is why you see it written with a K, Phuket. Now, before we get into it, let's have a look at the Vietnamese version. So Vietnamese island is written like this. Phu, and then you have a Q, U, O with a little hat, and a C. PH here is F. And again, this is this same U, and this tone marker here, it actually, depending when you're in the north or the south, if you're in the south, it starts a little lower, so it would be 4. If you're in the north, it would be 4, 4, 4. Okay, so we have 4. And now this Q here is actually a similar sound to this unaspirated K in Thai. So it's, okay. So really, I could be writing it like this. Now, there are 2 O's in Vietnamese. You have this O, which would be the equivalent of this in Thai, or, and then you have an O without a hat, which is the equivalent of this in Thai. So you have O and R. So in Phu Quoc, it's actually this O with a hat. It's the closed one. So if I've got that there, Phu Quoc, in the south, you notice that actually when you get this here, they don't pronounce the Q that much, and sometimes it's totally dropped. So it could be Phu Quoc, Phu Quoc. It actually sounds almost like a W. Okay. But now, so we have these 2. We have Phu Quoc and Phuket. I'm going to jump back to the Thai version and see where this PH came from. This, as I mentioned, was originated from this B in Sanskrit. And so in Sanskrit, this word here, bhu, would be pronounced bhu, but it's pu in Thai. Now, pu has several different meanings. If you take it from the Sanskrit line, it actually means to bestow or to give, or something to do with royalty, high aristocracy, but nothing to do with mountains. So why did they use this? Well, actually, we have to go to Chinese or Middle Chinese, and there's actually a character there. I'll write over the other side now. In Old Thai, Tai languages, and actually Old Chinese, you have this character here. And that in modern Chinese is actually pronounced fu. You'll see words that were traditionally f move to the front and become p, and words that have been traditionally p change to f, depending on geographically and over time where they are. And this is why in Thai, we actually, rather than this letter here, it could be written like this, pu, and probably should be written, actually in Lao, it's written like this. So this is pu, and when you extend the tail, that is fu. So that's pu and fu. And so the Lao version of that actually looks very similar. It's pu. So this letter, it looks a bit more prestigious because it looks like a Sanskrit word, but actually it's probably coming from this letter here, which is a cognate with this in Old Chinese, meaning a mound or a little mountain. Now get this. In Malay or Indonesian, kalau semuanya yang bisa bahasa Indonesia pasti sudah tahu katanya bukit. Okay, so for those who speak Indonesian or Malay, you know the word bukit. If you've been to KL, you know Bukit Bintang. And so bukit means mountain or hill, which is exactly the same meaning as fu. And so Bukit, Buket, Buket, Phuket, Phuket. This is where this came from. Phuket, Phuket. And so it lost, this sort of became Bukit, Phuket, lost its P, became Phuket. And the E. And you even get that in modern Indonesian where an I becomes an E. And so Bukit, Phuket, they're the same origin. But when Thais think of the Phu in Phuket, many of them think of Phu also meaning a mountain, which has the same meaning. That's crazy. So Phuket, got Phuket, the island of Phuket, means a mountain or a hill, cognate with the Malay, but also going way back, possibly cognate with this Phu or Pu from Old Thai. Now looking at Phu Quoc, well, the Quoc bit we can do away with very easily. That's from this character, which we know in Mandarin is Guo, or in Cantonese, it would be Quoc. Okay. So Quoc, that's the country or the land of. Now, where does this one come from? The Phu? Well, there's a character that you may know, like this, coming down, that there. And so in modern Mandarin, that would be fu. Now that's qu sheng. So there are 4 main tone groups in Chinese, ping, shang, qu, ru. This fu is the qu sheng. And so when that qu sheng, the departing tone, goes into Vietnamese, it becomes phu. So phu, this means to bestow or to give. And there's another one that it could have been, is this one here. So this character here is also pronounced fu. So when you go back and you look at the way that they used to be written in Zhinom, or the Chinese style characters for Vietnamese words, sometimes you would see this, sometimes you can see this used for it. This one means like wealthy, abundance. This one means to bestow. So to bestow the land, or the land of abundance. So that is the meaning of Phu Quoc. And so this PH is actually pronounced F. Now why? Because when the Jesuit priests, and you see Alexandre de Rhodes, so French and Portuguese Jesuit priests were coming up with the spelling system for Vietnamese. Was it a good thing? Was it a bad thing? Debatable. Look at some of the other clips I've done. But PH back then in Portuguese was a common rendering of the Greek phi, or we call phi, I guess, in modern English. And so anytime you saw this in Portuguese that was written PH, which we also have, philosophy, physics, PH. And so PH became the standard for F. And so now maybe it's becoming even more confusing, because Phu Quoc is actually getting really popular in Vietnam. And so now people are seeing Phu Quoc, Phuket, Phu Quoc, Phuket, and they're really close to each other geographically. And so now more than ever, I'm seeing so many people pronounce the island of Phuket as Phuket. It's not. Phuket, from Bukit, meaning hill, Ph. Phu Quoc, from Phu, or wealth, or Phu, to bestow. So Phu Quoc, the land that has been bestowed, or the land of wealth. Ph. Phu Quoc, Phuket. Phu Quoc, Phuket. I hope you enjoyed that. If you're learning Thai, get a copy of Cracking Thai Fundamentals and come and join the program at jacademy.com. If you're learning Vietnamese or Chinese or any of those languages, go back and have a look at all the clips I've done over the years. I'm sure you're going to find stuff in there that's of interest to you. I'm Stuart J. Raj. I'll see you on the other side.